So as always, timestamps exist in case you want to just skip forward, because I'm gonna do my 10 scout for the Kitasan Black banner, and I wasn't really counting, but I know I spent at least 20 scouts elsewhere, and that was not good to do, whether it's through tickets or otherwise, but we'll do it anyway, because if nothing else, I would like other SR cards. Not that I don't have something good, or I don't have good support cards. I guess I should make a smaller video at some point, if this is not the one, but I'm pretty sure this is a gold ship Batsu video. That being said, so I got another Marvelous Sunday. I already have enough Marvelous Sundays, and I already have, okay, well this is, if you haven't already seen it, I have Max Uncapped King Halo and Marvelous Sunday, which is already good enough. Also, yes, I have 105 exchange points. Now, can I get 100 or 95 more scouts by the end of this banner? But either way, I don't really have much else to spend if things are calculated correctly. Again, like I said, or I may have mentioned in an earlier video, but I mentioned it now for the sake of just mentioning it at least. I just want to basically spend all of my carrots and see if I can save enough for the next thing I want. Again, I'm not going to be scouting for anything particularly meta after Kitasan Black. That's the essential long and short of things. But as we do this here, can I just do this? I don't think I can. I kind of can, but it keeps giving me L, and I don't know if I actually wanted that. I think I want Super Creek instead. Do I want Super Creek? Oh my goodness. So essentially, yes, I'm building up, I'm trying to make stamina inheritances, or I'm fishing for stamina inheritances. That being said, yeah, that does kind of interfere because they're Pace Chaser stuff. I could do Pace Chaser Gold Ship. That would be interesting to do, but I guess we'll see. But either way, another thing that I've tried out, I guess you can try it out this video, if for no other reason than for funsies, but I don't think, I think I still need to add vodka in here, because I'm going to be borrowing a Max Kitasan Black, and I'd rather borrow a Max Kitasan Black than Super Creek. Yeah, that's the end of the sentence. Can I put it? I think it would probably be King Halo, right? No, we replaced Teo here with King Halo for the sake of stamina, and then we're gonna try this out. Again, keeping in mind, I did not order this correctly. It's different apparently between devices, and by devices I mean this is on PC, and then on my phone, I think I have things sorted differently, but we're gonna go with this. This is something that I just have started setting up. I would normally replace McQueen here with either Air Groove or Biko. Sometimes Diva Scarlet, because Diva Scarlet is just amazing, but I don't have a max uncapped Diva Scarlet. It's still good. She's still good. It's just, for the sake of completing the URA scenario, I found that this deck works for me. Again, though, I don't doubt that people who are running the pretty much, would I say meta? I see a lot of people running 4 speed and then wild cards. Technically, in a way, I am too, but again, it's either the replacement vodka or the McQueen for stamina. Period. That's all I have to say. Because I'm certainly not taking the McQueen support for the skill, because I essentially continue to train for medium races, essentially. Which also means that my stamina does not need to be as high. But again, I push my stamina to 600 if possible, and it depends on the circumstances, but I push my stamina to 600 for the sake of the 3-star, fishing for the 3-star. Again, it's not a particularly high chance, but you might as well, right? My personal rule, most of the time, 75% of the time at least, is to make something have a chance rather than no chance at all. So anything is better than 0%. Although my threshold for that is somewhere along the lines of like 0.01%. If it's 0.1%, I'll still go for it. But again, there's also a scale of how much work to how much work I need to do, and how, I guess, really just convenient it is. I should not have done that. Did I get mood from an event? I'm really not paying attention. Again, at this point, I have Gold Ship training down to pretty much muscle memory, save for not remembering certain events here and there. But yeah, we're gonna sit here. So something offhand to say at the moment is I too need to eventually do Haru Urara Arima Kinen, but if for no other reason than for collectionist's sake, because you do want to fill out the archive. I forgot if that affects your archive level as well, but it's events. But but even again, for collector's sake, I do need to win Arima Kinen with Haru Urara, as a lot of other people might want to just collect, if for no other reason than a lot of the Western audience like Haru Urara. I said that with a weird pronunciation. A lot of people in the in global server like Haru Urara. And the obvious stands out. I hear Bakshin's song all the time. I see Gold Ship slapped left, right, and center on videos and streams, and so I'm just going, well, yeah. But yeah. But as for me, I am just kind of sitting back and enjoying these stories. I've kind of slowed down in terms of not always skipping through everything. Like, for example, learning the story of winning ticket in BMW, learning the story of Meijiro Ryan trying to not step out of the shadow, but essentially beat Meijiro McQueen, things of that nature, if you're really looking into the stories. But I won't spoil too much, even though I have literally thrown up onsen runs. But again, it's I do feel that there is something to be... what's the exact phrase I'm trying to say here? There's something to see in actually going through the races yourself, because again, it's interesting to see how the events and dialogue changes, at least based on your performances throughout the goal. And I think that's reflected in the archive as someone sneezes in the background, but again, that's just something to think about. At a certain point, we do want to watch some of these races. I am interested to see some... Actually, am I? No, I'm not. I was gonna say I was gonna watch these races, but that was only if I was gonna go like 4 to 5 speed with something else. Well, for Gold Ship, I might go 4 speed, wit, and stamina, but that's a different story. So again, I go silent there for the sake of the timestamps for future Jordan. If that sound looks a little weird, then also I'm looking to the side here, and I forgot. There were a lot of notes I wanted to take down in terms of things I wanted to talk about. Part of those things also being that I don't. Again, as much as I probably should just name drop guides left and right, 1% failure. But yeah, as much as I just want to name drop guides and sites, I choose not to. Again, part of that is just me on this channel being afraid of robots, because robots have hurt me before. So, not that again, I'm not saying that anything bad would happen because of it. I'm just being particularly safe. Although something bad could happen, oddly enough. But that's just me and my spookiness, or being spooked out. So, as I've seen other trainers, again, I do listen and or watch other trainers as I do my own work. Also, yeah, we're going to push stamina a bit. I still personally prefer to have pretty much all of my stats at 200, 250. You can literally just stay that low, but what I mean by that is bare minimum. I like it to be that way. Otherwise, I like to increase my stats to like 300, 400 minimum. But if possible, again, it's not always possible if you don't have the resources, so shrug. By the way, yeah, I was like, where did all my supports go? But yeah, on the topic of looking at guide and stuff, I've obviously been doing my own research. If nothing else, very, very base things like looking at and trying to remember my own events. Sometimes it's just I just write down I got flabbergasted for a moment, and by that I mean I forgot what I was going to say for a moment because I saw sleep deprived as an event and kind of cried. Again, I tried to remember small things or note down small things like the effects of or the chances of getting sleep deprived, for example, as opposed to well rested and just a regular rest. Things like, hey, when I run into this Gold Ship event, what do both of these choices do for me as we get restricted here? That looks like guts. It is. Thankfully, this is more a bond training, so I'm not too sad. But I forgot what I was gonna say next. I'm gonna be so sad now. This is a stream-like video, by the way, as I drink water here. But yeah, we'll continue on. I really should just edit though. Wow, twice in a row though. Should be okay. It's not okay. Funny enough, I could enter this. That just means I enter hopeful stakes right after. I normally like taking Hanshin. I should probably go Asahi High. I do have both trophies, thankfully. I still need to do my trophy hunts. Essentially, yes, I am still trying to grind for carrots because I need... I'm going all in on the Kita-san Black banner. And we get third. That was to be expected, but I'd rather take the skill points here than train with pretty much nothing, so... I'm also going to gamble here. 5 energy. Well, 10 energy. I'll take that, actually. That's pretty good. That's very good, actually. I forgot if the skill points are random as well, but you get the point. Now, I did pretty well there, I think. That being said, I think we're just going to go for a stamina skill now. So, a lot of my trouble with the normal 4 or 5 speed strat with wild cards is that I normally don't... And the wild cards are usually things like stamina, because I do a lot of... I train a lot of Musume who focus on medium, even mile races. And that's because of the thought of the strategy that is get a stamina perk, get a stamina skill, so that you can... Why did I say perk? What game am I thinking of? Anyway, get a stamina skill so that you don't have to train stamina as much during URA finals. Again, this doesn't fly as well if you're making an Musume for team trials, but it works well enough for especially free to play, if no one else. I should have taken energy there. I don't know why I took stamina. Yeah, free-to-plays who may be in the phase of you're just doing training, trying to win URA consistently. Even though you may win URA pretty much 75-90% of the time now, you still wanna crunch those numbers up, basically, is what I'm trying to say, while making tweaks to see how many more stats you can get. And I do believe a large part of that... Yeah, we do need wits as well. A large part of that, I think, is the fact that everyone pulled and scouted for Kita-san Black support card. And so that means everyone is playing around with the new supports that they have. That being said, though, as newer trainers are finding out now, you don't especially if you're free to play, you don't have the resources to level up all cards to your whims. Another way to say it is trainers are learning how many resources you can spend, and so you have to be smarter spending them. Period. That's the end of the sentence. And in my case, though, I also definitely forgot. I think I ended up leveling up Daiwa Scarlet, even though I already had Marvelous Sunday level 45. But I wanted to try something, because the only other thing I would have done was probably level up my now max uncapped Aoi, which probably wouldn't have helped as much, especially since I'm using a deck that pretty much doesn't use any friend supports. Do I want to gamble on this? It would be nice. Once you hear the voice line, you can immediately react, but it's fine, kind of. So, that doesn't normally happen, and you shouldn't normally expect that from 13%. We're gonna gamble again. Gambler's fallacy. Nope. I got 15% into 15%. Well, this is going to be an interesting run. So now with this, especially if I don't... something I wanted to say is, yeah, I normally don't get a rare stamina skill early on these days. I don't know what it is. Yeah, the recent few days, I have not gotten any rare stamina skills from my support cards early in the run. I think one of the earliest ones was in the middle of Classic Summer. But that was the exception that proves the rule, because every other run I did, I'm pretty sure I got my rare stamina skills, and primarily just Vodka's rare stamina skill during summer-ish of senior year or third year, or second year technically. But you get the point. It was really late in the run, and that's not good for trying to clear goal races, and that did result in me... I didn't even clock some of the runs because I knew that it was going to be very, very bad, or I didn't have a high chance to win due to the lack of stamina. Again, this is not some implicit and or sly way of me saying, oh, 4 or 5 speed with the wild card strat is bad. No, there's a reason it works. It's just that there is a measure of RNG that a subset of people, a very small minority subset of people, will run into, and that includes me. So. Shrug. But that being said, it is a very consistent strategy, I won't deny. It's just that it works less often for me. So. We do want to race somewhere. I think I didn't miss a race, did I? Because usually it's just, I think, yeah. Tokyo Yushun into... not Arima Kinen. Takarazuka Kinen. That being said, though, I did start adopting the use of speed training with speed supports to increase power instead. Even though I have a vodka right here. Again, this vodka is not here for power training. It's nice if you get a vodka training with Kita-san and King Halo joining in. But other than that, I'm just using vodka for the rare stamina skill. That being said, I should just rest here instead. Something I don't do as often. I should actually do it here because we want to push Meijin McQueen to Orange Bond. But aside from that... Where's Marvelous Sunday, anyway? But, I forgot what I was going to say because I'm so flabbergasted by my turn RNG. Anywho, do I have... I don't particularly need it. I think we're going to take a speed skill instead. Could take Go Home Specialist. I don't need it, though. For better or worse, though, we will have energy to spare, but I'd rather take straight away Adept, I think. And I guess we hope that we get Beeline Burst from Director Akikawa's event. But I guess we'll see. Pretty sure I don't need more than even just 350 stamina. Again, this fluctuates depending on if you have recovery skills and assuming they proc, which does require high wits. That's for those who don't know, that's partly why the low stamina, high wits into rare stamina skill works out. It's because you're using the high wits to get a higher proc rate of things. The past 48 hours I've been remembering basically the skill proc calculation, but essentially all you need to know is the jump from 200-300 wit is quite a lot, and if you go from 100-200 wit, it makes the biggest difference, because otherwise you're sitting at a minimum 20% chance to proc a skill. And if you have less than 200 wits, you're probably just hitting that maximum. So what the game actually does is, I guess, as I autopilot here, Gambler's Fallacy. Okay, good. What the game basically does is it calculates your wits, and it takes the max of that value, or the higher value of that, or 20%. And so, as I just mentioned, if you don't have enough wits, then you're just all of your skills that proc based on wits have a 20% chance to proc. We need a rest here, by the way. Actually, I messed up because I wanted to go into Takarazuka Kinen, and we're going to run out of energy. I don't want to skip this, though. Yeah, I don't want to skip this. I was thinking of a secret event. Is that only for Teo? I know Teo has it, where she gets, I think it's 33 speed, 33 stamina. Either way, this is gonna hurt me a little bit. Oh, especially if I don't win. If I don't win, this was not a good thing to do. We get fans for it, but it was not good to do. Now we need rest. I'm even gonna gamble here. 19. That's better than normal. Sometimes it's 15 energy instead, but we do need to rest now. So whoopsie doopsie. We can do a lot of wits training, funny enough, and yeah, while we're here, if we can increase bonds, it's not a total waste. Or I like that, basically. I like that. Now this, on the other hand, I think I'm gonna take this. Okay, good. We need some stamina. We're not gonna get anything other than Gold Ship's... Almost said Gold Week. Gold Ship's own rare skill, which I don't want to buy because, there's no... It costs a lot, but it's the only thing I have, so we're gonna hope. We're gonna increase power here. And wits again, if possible. 25%. I don't really... You don't lose anything for failing this, I'm pretty sure. At least during the summer, I'm almost certain, but... Basically, we could afford to fail there, and I don't feel as bad. Although we do need to rest pretty much immediately. So... On a tangent note, those trying to do the Tanabata show, it's in the middle of summer, or it's at the very beginning of your summer training, which, is a heck of a thing to ask someone to sacrifice. But again, if you have the resources, then it's not so bad. I would have liked to do that. I'm not going to gamble there, though. I don't feel comfortable enough. We do get well rested, so it was a good rest, but still, physical labor. I think this is power? I know I'm pretty... No, it's stamina, but I need it anyway. So, Could do power here. I think I'll just go wits instead. Push vodka. I don't think she's at orange yet, but we could use the energy, and I don't want to use the turn on a training that will probably be better later. Also, I never really gamble on this event. Like, I think 4 times out of 5, I don't get the good version of that event. And by that, I mean you get Slacker. You just get Slacker most of the time. I'm pretty sure most of the time you do. If it's actually 50-50, then I must have just been very, very unlucky. Normally, you should take energy there. I would advise people take energy. I just like doing that for Director Akikawa, even though Director Akikawa doesn't grant you as much. Unless you're fishing for her event, which, again, apparently, if nothing else, it should have a higher proc. Actually, I need to take a stamina skill here. Should have a higher proc rate depending on her bond during the URA scenario, but maybe I'm wrong. This is a good buy if I'm not going to be getting any other skill in the next pretty much 3 to 6 months. But we'll see, I guess. Either way, though, I do want to guarantee I get first here. That would be nice. That being said, though, if that's the case, if I have less than 300 stamina, I was going to watch the race. But since we don't, since we do, we'll just skip because we should be able to win. Around 375, 400 in all of your stats here might even be over. You might only need 350 in every stat at this point, at the end of Classic Year. But definitely as you enter Senior Year, you want to be at your 400s, 450s. At least for the stats you were... I mean, yes, stat distribution is a thing, but if you want a very simplified version, having your stats at around 400 by the end of Classic Year, or reaching that, I feel, in my opinion, is better. And again, that's based mostly off my own personal experience. That's not based off of anything else. 24, 34. And that's because there's a Max Kitasan Black, but we're going to take this. Again, we're going to try to push our stamina to 600 is what I'm trying to say. I think... Oh no, it's late November, I believe. Right? Am I going crazy? Japan Cup. I guess we're going to find out. Why did I feel like I skipped something? Well, we're going to find it. Yeah, scheduled race. I scheduled it myself, so we can't miss it. But should be able to win this as well. Yeah, we should consistently win this. The only times we don't is when we get boxed in, which, funny enough, so I talked about how when you click view results here and skip a race, you can't see the replay. But if you fail a race, or you skip a race while you go in, and then clock, you can look at the race before you clock, oddly enough. But, I mean, that's not that odd, I guess. So, off we go. I wonder, is that random? The reporter result of a race rather than the regular thing, I guess. Let's see what happens here. 31%, 21, or 31 stamina, 21%. As attractive as that looks, no. Now, I'm scared that I don't get my stamina and or power to 600, but I guess we'll find out. I might even take firm conditions here. Normally I take the coast is clear, but no. So we have soft ground and it's even snowing instead of any normal weather. So we're just gonna go in and see. Assuming we don't proc a stamina skill, I assume we don't win. But if we do, we should get first. Sad that, I mean, yeah, it would be a lot to ask for, but there's no way to see where skills proc in the race on review after a race. I'm not even saying that it needs to happen after you view results and skip a race, but but basically if you watch a race or go into the race and even skip, it would be nice to see if and where your skills proc, but shrug. Which, if I recall correctly, skills are determined to proc before the race even starts. But as we move into the next year, ow, my lip. That was the sound you heard. Funny enough, I'm going to take skill points here. Now, if I were really scared about my stats, I would have picked stats, but that's lucrative too, but I think I'd rather take the speed power. Although I do agree, yeah, if you're working on a wits build for URA championship, for URA champions, let me reword that. Then yes, you do want your skill to be a lot higher, because either way you're getting your stats anyway. You are either increasing your stamina because you don't have as many stamina skills, or you don't have as many to rely on, or you're increasing your wits and getting skills, but your stamina is not increasing. So there is kind of a back and forth there. Yeah, I think we just take speed again. I just realized that I probably should schedule my next race, which will be Osaka High, and then... Or my next optional is Osaka High. But then we do anything else. Yeah, go into speed. Theoretically, though, we do have enough stamina to survive, I think, the rest of this. Now, if we had long URA finals, we don't, but thankfully, we should be, with the optional races that I pretty much have set into rotation, especially for my gold trip trainings, they will be good enough. Now, here, I'm probably going to take power instead for the sake of increasing stamina. Otherwise, again, if I were fixed on the speed training strat, I would take speed there, but because I want my stamina to hit 600 as well, at this point you might be wondering, well, Jordan, then why shouldn't you just not take stamina skills? No, because they still add a whole bunch. Again, you might hear the phrase, and you should hear the phrase, each rare recovery skill is 200 stamina. That's pretty much right. Yeah, that's pretty much right. This is from me looking into things, watching my own races, watching other people's races based on their trainee stats, and also going through basically race simulations in which what happens, or calculations in which what happens if you don't have rare stamina skills. And it might not specifically be 200, but it's close enough it doesn't matter. Or it's sufficient evidence to say that I was determining whether or not I wanted to do something here. I think I'll do wits instead of rest, just in case I get sleep deprived into a negative effect. But yeah, I've basically gone through a bunch of things, but overall this is pretty much trust me, bro, and or hearsay. We get fast learner. What is that again? I want to check because I don't remember. It's been a while since I got fast learner, I think. Gains tactical hints, which we probably don't need as many of, unless it can also help. No, it can't. Never mind. I'm not going to say that because that would be misinformation. Anywho, we should be able to win this. Now, the asterisk to that statement is that you can always get boxed in even if you have high stats. You are less likely to be boxed in, especially for long, if you have a lot more of a stat gap between your trainee and rivals, but for the most part, RNG still exists. I mean, well, RNG just exists. There's no for the most part. RNG just exists. So if you're wondering why, again, I've mentioned this before, but if you're wondering why you have over 100, 150 of all of your stats over every other opponent you're racing against, but you still get third, or heck, even 6th or 8th, it's because, well, you got boxed in most likely. When you're blocked by an Musume, as the phrase goes, you're blocked. And for those who don't understand what that means, basically, if you get blocked, you are, realistically, you are set, or practically, you are set to the speed of the Musume in front of you. But another way to say it is that your performance will greatly suffer if you cannot pass the girls who are in front of you. Or just girl. Well, there goes my mood. And I hear a line that I don't normally hear, because normally my gold ship is at great mood. I could take Costa's Clear. We really don't have anything else to get. Although I should be saving skill points if I immediately get straight recoveries on straights, rare skill, and the curve rare skill, corners rare skill. I'm going crazy. But anywho, Arc Professor? Is that the Japanese name, if I recall correctly? Anywho, you get what I'm trying to say. Getting rare skills means I would probably need to save more skill points. 10 lengths. We nearly distanced that race. And by that I mean it will say distance if you win by, I think it's more than 10 to 12 lengths? I forgot. But anywho. Off we go. Now, we do still want to enter the other optional races, I believe, if for no other reason than fans, but... And again, as I said, at this time, as we actually do get the rare skill, unless we get normal skilled, okay. Yeah, a lot of people have their 10 million titles already. That's all I need to say. Is it a race here? Or is it late May? Victoria Mile, we don't need to do that. I could for giggles. But I'd rather wait for Takarazuka Kinen, because now I'm afraid of my stats not reaching where they should reach. And yeah, that's interesting, but I would rather rest here. Well, let's hope. Nope, we got mood down again, so this time we need to recreation. Otherwise, we are going to suffer. The mood effect during races apparently isn't as big as I thought, as we get Claw Machine here, so unless a tragedy happens, either due to human error or RNG, we should hit great mood, but I forgot what I was talking about, never mind. Moving on. It's a huge special week! Oops. Yeah. I'm maybe a bit off-center. No, that was pretty on. Now, do we drop this immediately is the question? No. It would drop pretty much immediately with the speed that we're at, but let me concentrate so I can actually try to get things. Because this would also help with... I don't think I have recoveries on straights yet. That's a little off, but we'll see what happens. Miwa! Yeah. But we get 2. I think this is already a big win, but might as well continue because it's fun. It's a gold chip! Whee! Otherwise, I would have gone for the special week over to the right, because that one was definitely at least 3. But this is also 3. Yeah, I know. I'm wondering what was going on too, gold chip. But at least we got you your own plushie doll. And then we got 2 huge ones. No, it's not a big win? Am I going crazy? Why? I swear there was a source that said, unless one of those is not a huge plushie. But, anywho. It's fine. Yeah, straightaway recovery. And I think here I'm instead going to go wits for the sake of energy going into the summer. We should be able to hit 600 speed, 600 stamina, 600 power. The question is, do we even win URA finals with our stats being a bit low at the moment? We can take straightaway recovery now, though. Yeah, along with Professor of Curvature. We already took straightway recovery, I guess. No, we did not. I'm going crazy. Where did the other 4... Unless that was literally 4 hint levels from the Crane game, but I don't feel like that... Maybe that is the case. Boy, there's a lot that I need to remember. Again, let me repeat. I mean, I could correct myself a little bit in that there is a lot to learn with Musume, but I don't feel it's as much as people would think, at least in terms of general practicality. And by general practicality, I mean enough for you to even be very, or not very, in between moderately and very competitive, in my opinion anyway. But again, I could be wrong. It's essentially my opinion, and it's based on my own knowledge of what is needed to basically train to the level of getting ready for PvP events, let's just say. But I feel there's also kind of not a crevice or a ravine, but there is a divide. You're either someone who goes heavy in, or you're someone who, is dabbled, obviously. I do think there's a middle ground here, but I would guess 65% of the player base, plus or minus 5%, aren't going too deep, essentially. Now, I could do power instead, but this looks interesting. No, I don't need the guts. So we're gonna go... No, we're gonna take the stamina instead. Who am I kidding? I really do want to take the power, though. If we get power, we'll gamble on it. But let's find out. That being said, vodka does need to continue walking into the power. We do get it. 18%. Okay, good. And with this, now I feel a lot more comfortable. Not about my races, but about hitting the 600 threshold. Again, for those who don't know why I'm so concentrated on that, let's just put theory to the test. So we did fail. What do we lose from this? I think it's nothing, right? No. Yeah. So, it's fine. I didn't need the wits. I didn't want to rest there because you're guaranteed to get an okay rest, but shrug. Although we're gonna lose more energy here for power, but that's fine. In my opinion, anyway. We get a regular rest, and off we go. Now that being said, there is a chance if I don't concentrate on stamina or power at all. Actually, no. If we win URA finals, we should be able to hit 600 power. So, yeah, all we really need is to take the stamina training here. I'll probably rest right after. Depends on what happens next turn. And then we can just focus on increasing speed. And then add in some wits if we need to. 400 wits, again, is my comfort zone. Especially for a trainee who has a lot of skill. But we should be able to take this relatively easily. Can we? Yeah. Especially with the hint level. But anywho. So now we should have enough recovery skills. There is a low chance that we don't proc both. But, as we gamble here... I see trainers risking 20 to 30% all the time, and man, makes me feel so bad. Anywho, we'll take more stamina here, or power here, sorry. But, as we move on here, practice court portion hurt us too badly. But we do need to increase our mood again for the sake of training, so... This was a very bad gold chip run, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But if our skills proc properly during the race, then we should be able to get easy wins. It's not guaranteed, but it's easier than if not a lot of my skills proc, and specifically the stamina skills, even though I have 550 stamina, which I think is enough for URA finals, so really it's a question of increasing my speed and or power. And then getting my guts higher. I've heard that the guts requirement for gold chip, at least for URA finals, is actually 400 here, but I'm just kind of sitting here for the moment. We might as well infirmary if we're going to do this, actually. So you know what? We get rid of practice poor, and then we do recreation. Hopefully energy? Okay, good. And then I can train. I really should have just looked at my training just to be sure, but I didn't want to. So, yeah, we do wits here. We shouldn't rest anymore. We could have had a lot more wits. We could have done a lot better if we did wits instead of rest a lot of our turns, but if I didn't rest, I would not have as much high stamina, definitely. Power, we could have gotten to 600 just by nature of doing speed training, but I don't normally like to do that. Again, it's because I'm trying to fish for specifically stamina sparks, which I shouldn't really be too gung-ho about considering the RNG, but again, I figure any chance is better than no chance at all, especially if it's within my convenience to look for 3-star sparks, for stamina specifically. But really, I'll take anything. I'll take anything. So, as we finish off Arima Kinen here... Yeah, we should be set for URA finals. It's still a little shaky, so I do want my stats to increase a bit more, but if we see a good stamina training, I'll take it. Like, a really good stamina training. Otherwise, we're probably going to focus speed here. Yeah. Let's do power instead. That way we can guarantee that both power and stamina hit 600 if we complete URA finals. At this point, we're already guaranteed to get in to get 600 because this race as well will grant us some goodies. A part of my miscalculation right now is that I normally have Aoi, or in this case Tazuna here, and so my Tazuna bond will pretty much be at max, which means extra stats. I think it's 8 plus stats, but still, that's if you're trying to skirt the line of, hey, I'm going to get 600 in the stat or not, 8 into a stat does make a difference. But yeah, so yeah, 13 there, 10 to 15 more at the end, depending on the director's bond level. And we'll do this. Actually, the semifinals, so I would have to take a risk next turn, but I have enough clocks to save this if need be, so... And by that I mean increase my mood. Increase my mood. That's what I'm trying to say. Ow, my face! So, I think for funsies, what I'm gonna end up doing is saving all of my skill points for green skills, particularly rainy days / wet surfaces. So what? I'll keep mentioning it because if for no other reason than for fun. But if you ever run into my PvP team, or you're racing against one of my Uma Musume for a PvP-based mode, just know that I likely have green skills for wet conditions or rainy days. Even though those may not be the strongest skills, I just know I'm going to take them. So by not racing my trainees on a rainy day, or veterans at this point, then you are that is skill points that I essentially end up wasting. Oh my goodness, 32. Gambler's Fallacy. I failed all those checks in the past. We're going to succeed this one. Hey! Gambler's Fallacy. So for those who don't know what the Gambler's Fallacy it is, to simplify it, it's I guessed a coin flip wrong twice. I must have a higher chance of guessing the third one right. But the fallacy there is that no, it's always 50%. But the thought that, hey, the chance of me guessing a coin flip wrong 3 times is valid. But again, that's why it's a fallacy, because you're thinking of that as you're determining your odds of just a coin flip in general, where the third coin flip has no effect, is not affected by the 2 previous coin flips. Unless it is somehow, but then that would be a different story. So, was that the finals? I skipped past it. I didn't mean to skip past it. Well, hey, we won. I was supposed to watch through the race. I kind of broke my own house rule there, but it's fine, I guess. So, yeah, without further ado, again, this is my comfort zone. For you, it might be something different, especially if you run the wits-based kind of more meta thing that I'm seeing a lot more trainers pick up. I'm not saying you're wrong, or any strategy is wrong. Again, if you win your championship or you win a mode in general, then you've done something right. Even if it was you getting lucky. I do believe so. That's something I could talk about next time. But, luck stat in real life, essentially. I think I'm just going to go full RNG. Ooh, corner recovery, too. Hey! We didn't have as many skill points remaining, or we're lacking of any skill points. But you get what I'm trying to say. There is a degree of luck that you cannot change. Now, if you're spending more real-life money on Uma Musume, yes, it helps out because you can use carrots to refill your TP, but that can only help you so much. I'm not saying that you can't do that as we roll power here and get 1 star, but RNG is still going to be a thing. That was my best gold ship? Oh my goodness. Anywho. Off we go. I don't want to use this gold. Well, actually, could I? Well, anywho. We're about 3 or 4 runs away from our title. Unless I just do another gold ship run, I might actually. But anywho, I get a single scout of carrots, scout's worth of carrots, and yeah, I'm going to continue grinding. So, without further ado, as the window sound plays right at that opportune moment, if you have anything to say, if you want to correct me anywhere, feel free to do so. Again, I'm still trying to retain, learn, and pretty much learn about Uma Musume again, because, boy, it has literally been at least 3 years now since I've even focused on the gameplay. But yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!